Brawl Stars has released a lot of big events, but unlike a certain other game, all of these events have at least to some degree been pretty good. The worst you can really say about a Brawl Stars event, it is that it's too grindy or it's not that rewarding, which means that no event in Brawl Stars is truly that bad, because all of these events will still provide free bonus rewards. A great event in Brawl Stars would strike a great balance between fun and rewards. If the event isn't fun, then why should anyone get the rewards? And if the rewards aren't good, why should anyone play the event? That's why an event like Angels vs Demons was so good, because the game modes and abilities were really fun, alongside the rewards being plentiful. Add a little extra to that like a coin flip, contests, and a new way to unlock abilities. It's no surprise why this event is considered one of the best events in Brawl Stars. There are other events that get close like SpongeBob and Subway Surfers, but there are a few things that sort of hold these events back from hitting the same level as Angels vs Demons. But there is an event that is the polar opposite of Angels vs Demons. An event where there was no fun or rewards. An event that tried to piggyback on the past and present but fell short in a lot of areas. An event so bad, so underwhelming that I don't see anyone talk about it anymore. And this event is the Kenji event. Although to be fair, that event did have everything that I just said to some extent. But no, you saw the thumbnail, so you already know what I'm talking about. It's the Mega Box event, or as Supercell called it, the Classic Brawl event. This event is pretty much the opposite of the Angels vs Demons event. I didn't really see too much criticism at the time about this event. I feel like people just passed this event because events were just so new, and there wasn't really a clear precedent to how events should work in Brawl Stars. So I feel like those two factors gave this event a pass. But looking at the event to the previous event, and especially looking at the event now with all these newer events, it's pretty obvious to me that this is the worst event in Brawl Stars. And the strange part is that this event had a lot of potential, but I'll get to that later, because now I'm going to be going over this event and tell you why this is the worst event in Brawl Stars. Although I wish I could say this was objectively the worst, but at the end of the day, this is my opinion. But anyways, let's break down this event. This event was all about the Mega Boxes. Strange that we weren't opening up small boxes or big boxes, but I can understand because Mega Boxes are the most iconic out of the tree, so it makes sense. But what doesn't make sense, it is how you get them. Because you would unlock Mega Boxes with star tokens, which was weird because you only ever unlocked big boxes with star tokens. The only way you could get Mega Boxes back then were from the Trophy Road shop and Brawl Pass. Supercell never ever offered Mega Boxes for star tokens, so this change was just a bit weird. I think it would have been way more fitting if we had to get star points or even tokens to get them. So this change feels a bit odd, but anyways, let's talk about how you actually get them. There were only really two ways to get star tokens. You could get them from winning battles in a certain game mode and quests. It would cost 12 star tokens to get 1 Mega Box, and you would be able to claim 4 star tokens from game modes every day. You could get 2 star tokens from the event game modes, which I'll get to later, and 2 star tokens from regular game modes. Now, if you opened up 10 Mega Boxes, you could get a free Hypercharge skin. And considering nowadays most Brawl Stars events last 27 days, this means that if you did all your tokens, you would get 9 boxes in total, plus an extra free box because Supercell added one to the shop. And quests ensure that if you didn't play on some days, you will still get this skin. But what if I told you this event didn't last 27 days? Instead, it lasted 20 days. This meant that you could only nab 6 Mega Boxes if you didn't do any of the quests, alongside the free Mega Box, which bumps our number up to 7. So unless the special quests would provide 28 star tokens, then it would be impossible to get the Hypercharge skin unless you paid up. Now I couldn't find out how many star tokens we got, but from reading a bit up, these quests would appear every weekend. And from my blurry memory, I think you got 2 star token quests per day in the weekend. That meant every weekend gave out 6 star tokens. And considering the duration of the event had 3 weekends in it, that means you could have gotten 18 star tokens from quests, which is 10 off from the 28 we need. So even if you played every day in the event, you would still be shy of 1 box. Now, to be fair, I haven't actually said every method to get star tokens, because Supercell did release a challenge that gave out 15 free star tokens, alongside a free Mega Box if you completed it, so the total amount of boxes you get from this event is 11. Keep in mind, this is if you do everything. Completing challenges, completing quests, doing all the game modes that have a star token on them. All this for just 11 boxes. Now, to be fair, I'm not really saying the whole story, because 7 days into the event, Supercell ran into a problem with the Mega Pig event. Pretty much matchmaking had some issues, so they compensated us with this event. You could claim 1 free Mega Box from the shop. The amount of star tokens we could get from game modes went from 4 to 8, and weekends would now provide 4 quests instead instead of 2. Now after counting the free mega box, alongside the extra star tokens that you would get daily and on every weekend, if you did everything, you would then get 17 mega boxes. Overall, after this compensation, it was now a lot easier to get the hypercharge skin, but it's kind of ridiculous how the original plan was that you had to grind the entire event out. But hey, it doesn't matter about how many we got, it matters about how much we can get with that amount. And considering how good the old mega boxes were, I think getting 17 in total is pretty good. But there's just one problem with adding back the old mega boxes. You see, PowerPoints nowadays are more like a currency, kinda like coins, bling, and gems. But back then, PowerPoints acted more like the XP we have today, where instead of being able to freely choose what you want to spend it on, your currency would be automatically sent to a track with a threshold, and if you completed the threshold, you can upgrade. And PowerPoints back then were brawler specific, so every brawler had their own set of PowerPoints. And considering the old PowerPoints had a lot to do with the old mega boxes, it makes sense why they would change the newer mega boxes. But the problem is, Supercell may have changed them too much. Back then, when you opened up the mega box, you were guaranteed a fat stack of coins and a lot of PowerPoints. But in these newer boxes, you may sometimes not even get either. Also, the bonus reward from mega boxes got axed. You could previously get token doublers, which are the modern equivalent of XP doublers, gems, as well as tickets. But now the gems and XP doublers got moved over to the main rewards, alongside bling being added. Another major change to these boxes is how many items that are guaranteed. Previously, in old mega boxes, you were guaranteed at least 6 items, and in these new mega boxes, you were only guaranteed 2 items. This makes them feel more like small boxes than mega boxes, which is already a bad sign. Another thing that makes these newer mega boxes feel more like small boxes, it is that you can get a really low amount of coins and PowerPoints, which just like the previous example is pretty much just like small boxes. Another massive change from these newer boxes to these older mega boxes, it is that you can't get any gadgets or star powers from them, which is odd because that was a defining part of these boxes. And the final major change, it is that they've now added skins to them. I feel like this last part was the only truly valid thing they did to these boxes, but even then, it's quite unnecessary that they did that. There are also a lot of other changes in these boxes, but I would be here all day if I did the comparisons. All this combined makes these newer mega boxes not feel like mega boxes. If anything, the boom boxes feel more like mega boxes. I understand why they had to change these boxes in at least some way, but changing them this drastically was definitely unneeded, as well as taking out stuff from these boxes that was pretty unnecessary. And overall, because these boxes are not as consistent as mega boxes, they just feel way worse when you get a bad load, especially considering what you're comparing them with. So pretty much you're grinding your butt off to get 17 small boxes that are reskinned as mega boxes. So the reward in this event is honestly not there. So let's hope the fun of the event will make up for it. So let's check out those temporary abilities. Wait a second, there are no temporary abilities? Wait, this is the only update event that doesn't have them. Well, this event already got more disappointing. Well, let's at least hope the game modes can save it. These game modes were Mirror Match and Drum Roll. Mirror Match was definitely the most boring. Everyone pretty much played the same brawl in one game mode. That's it. But Drum Roll was more interesting, because you had to take down a certain amount of brawlers, and whenever you took down a brawler, you would turn into a new brawler. This event idea sounds fun, on paper, because in reality, people kept kill stealing. Whenever you took a brawler out and transformed into a new one, you would automatically regain all of your health. So there weren't any repercussions to kill stealing. If anything, it was encouraged. So we got a pretty boring game mode that probably took like 2 days to program, and an unbalanced, poorly thought out version of Solo Showdown. Both of these game modes had the classic Brawl modifier. This meant every Brawl was locked to power level 9 and you could only use 1 star power. This modifier was quite cool to play with, but this modifier is pretty much just doing the bare minimum. I mean, we don't even have an icon for this modifier. Okay, so what else was added in this event? Skins? Most of them are just recolors, with 2 original skins. Compare this to all the other events, where we would usually get like 5 skins and maybe like a few recolors. This event just did the inverse. They changed the background and background music to classic Brawl Stars. That's cool. They remade the old title screen. Honestly, I hated this title screen. I'd much rather have them go back to the old one. That was the event. Honestly, this event has the least to it. I mean, we got a pretty grindy way of getting boxes. The boxes themselves are pretty underwhelming. and the game modes that are extra underwhelming, and no temporary abilities. I don't even care that much about temporary abilities, but their absence here still scratches my head. All of this added together makes this event feel like the most dry and boring event in Brawl Stars. Even side events nowadays have more content than this. Events like the Trick or Treat event, the Angels and Demons event, heck, even the Uno collab. All of these events have got way more fresh and exciting content than this classic event, and they weren't advertised as the main part of an update. And the sad part is that this event could so easily be a really good event, but because everything in this event is so stale, it makes sense why no one is talking about this event. So now I'm gonna reimagine this event, while still using the framework of the event as a baseline. The first thing on my agenda are the boxes themselves. I don't really have a problem with how you unlock the boxes though, because they still bring back an old element of classic Brawl Stars, while still showcasing a part of more modern Brawl Stars. Plus, it does make sense why it takes a while to get the boxes, considering how much they used to provide. But anyways, back to fixing the new mega boxes. The first thing I would do is change these boxes to exactly how they were. This means getting a fat stack of coins as well as being guaranteed power points for brawlers. Now, I know what you're thinking, but the old system wouldn't work anymore, because brawlers don't have brawler specific power points anymore. Well, let me explain to you a simple fix. So let's say I got 76 Tara power points from a mega box. And let's also say my Tara is power level 9. Which means the amount of power points I need to upgrade Tara is 890. So pretty much what we're gonna do with these 76 Tara power points is that we're gonna minus 76 power points from the 890 power points. This means instead of costing 890 power points to upgrade to the next level, you now need to spend 814 power points to upgrade to the next level. This one simple fix allows the old mega boxes to work in modern Brawl Stars. And it's not like Supercell couldn't implement this, because it's already in the game. Because when Supercell removed boxes in 2022, they also reworked power points in the process. So pretty much what they did to the already existing power points that were already on the brawlers was minus the amount of power points the brawler had left. That's why I've got loads of brawlers with discounted PowerPoint numbers, because I haven't bothered to upgrade them. So you can't tell me Supercell couldn't implement this, because they already have. But as I said, the simple fix will already just allow old mega boxes to be in modern Brawl Stars. And this goes for every box, even the Omega box. But I can't just implement the old mega boxes, because I obviously want to make some changes. First of all, I still want to keep the cosmetics in the boxes, considering that was the only way to get them without paying up. But it was kinda annoying to see your items remaining got bloated, because there were some cosmetics that you thought was a brawler. Which is why in the new returning mega boxes, these cosmetics will be sent to the bonus items section. This makes perfect sense, because cosmetics in these boxes are anyways just a bonus. And considering cosmetics were never in the old mega boxes, it makes sense why they would be a bonus in the new ones. I think it would have also made a lot of sense if they added hypercharges to mega boxes. Considering the old mega boxes had gadgets and star powers in them, the logical step would be to add hypercharges, although not gears. And a ton of other smaller changes, like fallback rewards not being available in the boxes, as well as swapping out the token doublers for XP doublers. I overall feel like all of these changes to these boxes would have made them way better and way more consistent. As for temporary abilities, I think it would have been really cool if they made them deleted gadgets and star powers. So something like 8-Bit's extra life star power, Surge's teleport gadget, Brock's incendiary star power, or Tick's backup mine gadget. These could have been really cool temporary abilities every brawler could use, sort of like the Angels vs Demons event. Or they could have even allowed us to swap our gadgets and star powers. If you don't know what I'm talking about, around 5 years ago there was this glitch where you could swap gadgets and star powers from brawlers. This made for some insane combos. Now I think this glitch was available for more than a year, because this glitch was only available in friendly battles, so it wasn't that high of a priority for Supercell, but it's still a part of Brawl Stars history. So it would have been cool if they added it as a temporary ability. They could have maybe even have done it with hypercharges. Now I know this would have probably have taken way too much time to implement, as designing multiple different combinations would probably be really time consuming. But nonetheless, it would have been really cool to see it get implemented, and this event would have made the most sense if they added it here. And finally, we've got the game modes. I feel like this one is the most obvious one on how it can be improved. Instead of making new, original, boring game modes, they could have just added back old, deleted game modes. Game modes like Siege would have been great to see come back. alongside stuff like Heist 1.0, Hot Zone 1.0, or the original Bounty. All of these game modes would have been really cool to see come back. They could have even have done the bare minimum like bringing back old maps and modifiers. All of this would be way cooler than Mirror Mode. All of this that I've just said makes for a far better event than what Brawl Stars did. Because not only are all of these game modes still fun, they also fit with the theming of classic Brawl Stars. This event I've made is supposed to be a great throwback to the past, while also trying to show how far Brawl Stars has come. While the event we actually got feels like they're trying to reimagine the past. Overall, this event doesn't really feel that well thought out. It doesn't really know if it wants to be a nostalgic throwback, or tries to go for something new while still referencing the past. All of this combined makes this event feel cobbled together, and I think I've got a theory on why. This event happened right after the Godzilla event, and it was undeniably a huge success. Millions of players either came back or experienced the game for the first time. Supercell took a calculated risk on the Godzilla event and it paid big time. But the problem was that Supercell didn't really have the next big event in the vein of this event planned out. They obviously had their community event releasing the next month, but outside of that, they didn't really have anything else. Now, the wise decision would be to make a bigger event that would attract even more players. But because the Godzilla event was such a big success, they instead decided to shift their plans into making another event. That was why the main feature of that update, social improvements, felt so one note, because they had to now divert their attention to the classic Brawl event. All of this combined, with them needing to make the event on such a short notice, alongside them working on social features, obviously meant that not only social features would feel underbaked, but the event itself too. This was probably why the classic Brawl event feels so cobbled together. They had a good idea to attract even more players. Bringing back Mega Boxes would not only attract even more older players, but it would also allow newer players to open up their first ever Mega Box. But because they couldn't execute it well, this made this event feel like it was for no one, because this event didn't attract any older players, because the new Mega Boxes were not Mega Boxes, and it didn't make any new players more invested, because the event was really grindy and the rewards were lame. So this event just didn't do anything to Brawl Stars. I would actually reckon that the previous event probably brought in more players. Overall, while I have been pretty harsh to this event, I would still give this event a 5 out of 10. Because yeah, while comparing this event to every other event, it's definitely more underwhelming. But standalone, this event is still an event that gives out a good amount of rewards. While this event is quite boring and grindy, there isn't really anything that gets me outright annoyed about this event, other than the sheer potential of what this event could have been. But overall, this is the only event in Brawl Stars where neither fun or reward is there, which is why this is the worst event in Brawl Stars. Yet again, I would like to say objectively, but at the end of the day, this is my opinion. But with that, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.
Talker, CR, and BS.